You ready?
Yeah, man, ready when you are.
All right. All right, guys. We're going to get started here. I'm Ryan, aka Let Blood Run. Hate that name, but that's what some of you know me as. And there's my good friend.
Yep,
Uh,
JP here, aka Farai, and I'm not really too fond of Farai anymore either, but that's what people know me as. So I don't
r-
think JP's ever going to catch on as much as people calling you by your real name, so I'm stuck with it.
right. And this is our second installment of our weekly edition. Well, I guess you can call it the first of the weekly because last time was like, the how to be a scumbag. Every 3-4 years we did one, and now that we got a lot of time on our hands, we're gonna do a little weekly thing, due to popular demand from about two people. So,
Yeah,
um,
that's what's considered popular in the third strike scene.
yeah, and like a lot has changed. I don't know, John, if you saw my new Twitch layout. Did you check that out recently?
Oh, yeah, yeah, I did. Looks cool.
Yeah. Well, I took that a step further. Well, this is the layout in case you guys missed it. I just changed it right now. So yeah, it's kind of like the same thing. I went with the bottom is like the same thing Dusty made. It's a skyline of Tokyo because who doesn't love Tokyo? It's the best city in the world. And then
Right.
kind of made the death metal style font. And
Yeah, yeah, looks cool.
yeah, this was for me to play Third Strike, and I figured um, I wanted to add my friend John here, Farai, but he goes by JP now, so I wanted to add him into it. So I kind of wanted to, you know, how can I do that in a cool way? And I thought, my theme is black and white. We got to go with the wolf pack, right? So
Oh, fuck
I
yeah.
changed it up right here. I don't know if you can see it, John. If you could look at your computer or something, uh, I made it pretty sick.
On your Twitch channel?
Yeah, right, on Twitch. It's loaded up.
It,
I'll
why
show
is
it.
it still says standby?
Oh no, it's like this.
Oh, damn, that's cool looking, man.
Yeah. So yeah, we got our new Wolfpack edition Twitch layout, thanks to my rudimentary uh, Photoshop skills.
Well done, man.
And so yeah, actually, going about the name thing, I had one thing to start the day off with, and I know you'll be really happy to hear about this, but I think it's 2020, a new decade. Uh, no flying cars yet, but we're working on it. We have a little quarantine thing going on. Didn't see that coming, but we're working on it. And I haven't. I like a new something I want to do. I want to forever bury the Let Blood Run and Farai names. What do you think about that?
Oh, sounds good to me, dude.
Okay. Great. Well, I made a little visual aid in order to in order to show what I mean. Let's see if you can see it on the screen now. Does that show anything?
It's starting to load up. It's starting to load up. I guess as long as our viewers can see it.
Um, yeah, I don't know how to use Zoom very well, so I'm hoping that you guys can see it. Do you see anything on your screen? Because I shared it with you.
Must be technical difficulties right now.
Okay.
Oh,
How about
oh,
that? Okay.
there we go. Oh, that's cool, dude.
All right. Sorry, I'm figuring it out as we go on the fly. So we got a. Why don't you tell us about this picture, John?
Sure. Well, this kind of will be a good segue into the topic of today's show, anyway. But this is a trip down memory lane. This was probably July 2009. And I think this particular night was when James had just arrived in Tokyo.
That's right.
And yeah, that had to have been the night because that's when we bought the baseball pillow.
Right.
And
That's what you're holding, right? It's a baseball
ex-
pillow.
yeah, if you look very closely on the stream, squint your eyes a little bit. That's a pillow that's in the shape of a baseball that we bought at Don Quixote. And we are at the McDonald's that was across the street from one of our favorite hotels, Rose Garden, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Hopefully, one of us will get married there someday.
Yeah, I'm planning on it. So yeah, we were at
Yeah.
McDonald's. It's not showing up on the stream. So, sorry guys. Let me add it for you real quick, just so you guys get the full uh, visual concept. Sorry, figuring this out as we go. I figured out right now that if I share the screen with JP, he can see it, but you guys can't. So let me add that to Twitch real fast.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
And let's see. I'll do like that. All right, there you guys go. So yeah, picture of me and John, Farai and Let Blood Run. Sorry, that's who it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Young boys.
Exactly.
This was 2009. Shinjuku, Nishi Shinjuku. That's west for you English speakers.
Yeah, the business district.
I like this McDonald's. I have some good memories from that one. Going there,
One hell of a story there.
going there drunk. Baseball pillows. In that picture, I remember I was super just like coming down from being really drunk, and
Well, yeah, Ryan has the whole fucking liter bottle of water right there.
yeah, I had to buy the liter, and I never do that. That's such like a Bessel's thing to do that I don't do.
That it's an emergency move, man.
Yeah, but nowadays I would just keep drinking. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I was just I was a noob.
Yeah, usually wait till the morning to just fucking chug water. But
I mean, yeah, if you
we were still,
I-
we were still building up our livers, I guess.
I didn't know that like if you just keep drinking, you don't feel bad.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know that. So at that point, I was like, oh, I don't want to drink anymore. Oh, I feel like crap. Oh, I should buy this water. I mean, this is really rookie mistakes, but you can't blame me. Didn't know better. So, anyways, I made this nice picture just to show that these names will officially be dead as of now.
Yeah, this is like Razor Ramon and Diesel. Those people don't exist anymore.
Right, and we're gonna write this just like WWE style, just sweep it. It's gone, and we're never gonna mention it again. And you guys have to
Under
just
the rug.
under the rug, just just don't even bring it up anymore. So, cheers to those names, John.
Yeah, cheers to that. Those guys had really good times, from what I hear, but I never really knew them. I've always been JP.
Yep. So yeah, we're not gonna talk about that anymore. Sorry, I just messed up the Twitch stream. Bear with me.
Well, as you adjust the stream, I guess like I said, I'll segue into what today's topic is. It's no coincidence that we're waxing a little bit nostalgic today about times gone by. Today, me and Ryan thought it would be a good idea to do a little bit of story time from our early, beginning days of being Third Strike players. Isn't that right?
Yep. It seemed like something good. I mean, we talked a lot about last time, like what we've been doing, but so let's go back in the history books. Let's share some stories. We have plenty of stories to share.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sorry
Too
guys.
many to cover in one podcast.
Yeah, and we have plenty of stories that we would only really talk about in person, not on the internet in front of all you fine young people. All right, that looks about good. I had it better before, but what are you gonna do? I screwed it up.
Whatever.
So yeah, I would say, what do you want to talk about first? Like your first arcade you played at, or something like
Well,
that?
yeah. Let's. I think for organization's sake, we should start chronologically, and I would suggest you starting because, if I remember correctly, you started playing it probably 2 or 3 years before me. I started in 2005, so you started when?
Um, yeah, I remember it was senior year of high school, 2003. Um, which is pretty crazy to think about that I was introduced to this game in high school because two of my buddies really liked Third Strike for whatever reason. I mean, if you think about it too, like 2003 is not even that early because people were playing that shit in '99, which is
Hmm.
insane. But yeah, they used to go to arcade called Nickel City after school, which was down the street from my house, um, and down the street from my high school too. So not too far. I mean, we were 17, 18. We had our driver's licenses, and they used to go and like I went. I never wanted to go because I wasn't into like Street Fighters. So finally, one time I was like so bored. They were just like, "Oh, just come," and I was like, "Ah, all right, I'll go." So I go, and I had played Street Fighter as a kid. I mean, I grew up down the street from Sunnyvale Golfland, so and I grew up in Sunnyvale. Like my house in Sunnyvale was like probably less than a mile from Golfland, so I used to go there just like for fun. I used to see Street Fighter. I used to dabble, but I was never a serious player. But I knew things. I knew things like cross ups, and I knew things like low forward Hadoken, low forward Shoryuken. I knew those kind of things.
That's not a bad start.
As most kids probably. I don't know about you, but like I grew up in Sunnyvale, which was like for you people that don't know, was basically the capital of Street Fighter from the time Street Fighter came out until probably uh, just around like late '90s, because the Capcom office was located in Sunnyvale, uh, with all the other computer fucking companies, and they used to like location test all the new versions of Street Fighter at Sunnyvale Golfland, which was conveniently a couple miles away from their office. And just by chance, this is where I grew up as a little kid. So I knew a little bit about Street Fighter. Anyways, I go with my friends to Nickel City here, the Third Strike guys. And the first thing I realized when I watched them play was I thought, man, these guys fucking sucked. Because I just knew that like I knew that how Street Fighter looks when it's played at a kind of a higher level. I mean, there's the I didn't know it's called footsies, but I knew there's like the ground game. I knew there's like the zoning aspect. I knew that you jump, you get sure you can, and I just saw my friends like doing the like, the newbie spin the stick, like can't really do the combo, can't really do sure you can, whenever they want. Which is growing up in Sunnyvale, I used to just go to the arcade as like a little 5-year-old, 6-year-old kid and see people doing sure you can on command. So I already knew my friends sucked, and the loudmouth that I am, standing from the side of the cab, I just started saying, "Man, you guys suck. I thought you guys were good at this game. You guys come here all the time to play, right? Well, why don't you try?" So, reluctantly, I stepped up to the plate and I busted their ass. Uh,
Really?
yeah, I mean, with
Having never touched Third Strike itself.
yeah, well, they were pretty bad, and I was just doing like so there was like three of my buddies. One was like by far better than the other two. The other two was that was the guy I played. I probably played like the weakest guy. So I wouldn't say like it was that cool. Um, but I busted his ass because he didn't even know how to do like how to block basically. So I could just do cross up with Ken. I had no idea that Ken's crouch jump medium kick was so good of a cross up in Third Strike because I just knew it was good in Street Fighter 2 because I used to do that shit in Super Nintendo. Uh, so just by chance, by luck, I picked the best character to do cross ups with, and I just abused it. Cross up into Mash Fierce Shoryu when it hit. I was hit confirming from day one. uh, anyways, we went back to my buddy's house, and the one that was the best player, he he played Urian, and we played on Dreamcast. After, we didn't have any other version to play on. This is before PlayStation 2's version even came out. Dreamcast was the only option. So we're playing at his house. He picks Urian, and I can't touch him. Like, I can do my jump cross up crap, but like, if he just gets one launch on me, he did like a headbutt into jab Aegis, headbutt over the like noob unblockable, right? And I was so upset that I couldn't beat him that like I went online and I went to the store. I tried to find like some strategy guides, couldn't find anything. I went online. I just studied the hell out of Street Fighter 3 to try to beat him. Yeah, it took a while, but yeah, I made him quit. So yeah, he used to get really upset.
Were you guys playing on sticks on Dreamcast?
No, no way. Just Dreamcast pad.
Oh, geez, that's kind of a gnarly pad to use.
Oh, it's tough, and it really, really hurts your thumbs, dude.
I would imagine.
Um, but yeah, I mean, since I played him, and then I studied a lot about the game. I learned about car throws. I didn't get it, but I like studied about it. Um, finally, I looked online one day. I was like, where can I play Street Fighter 3, Third Strike? And there was a Shoryuken's website had like a whole database of arcades you can go to around the country, around the world probably. I don't know. Anyways, I just checked the SoCal spot, and it was like Family Fun Arcade. It's the number one Third Strike arcade in America. If you like Third Strike, you should go here. And so I did. Oh, sorry. I was trying to update my Twitch the title name. So I went to Family Fun Arcade, and it was insane. It was just there was like 15 head-to-heads. Never even seen a head-to-head, one of them. So it was cool to see 15 of them. and
Yeah, I gotta say, like, not to derail you, real quick bit. I really distinctly remember my first time going to FFA too, and it's just like that blew me away how many caps they had, and all of them were head to head. Maybe like two or three showcase, but like tons of head to heads.
yeah, and I'm not even exaggerating when I say that there was seriously like 15 head-to-heads of Third Strike,
Definitely, definitely.
which is insane, right? Because that arcade could only hold about 21 head-to-heads. So basically, the whole arcade was just, uh, you know, Third Strike head-to-heads, and a couple marvels, and like a shooting game or two, and that was it.
I would
uh,
imagine though, going from Nickel City and playing, your buddies to FFA, that must have been like a huge jump.
well, yeah, I mean there was a good year and a half gap between those two events. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like the next weekend.
Oh, okay.
Um, but I mean, yeah, that's eventually once I could beat my friend. It took some time, and then once I beat my friend, I researched more. Who can I play? Drove up to Family Fun Arcade, which is no small, quick drive from San Diego.
Fuck no, that's a really far drive.
Yeah, it's a good 3 hours. I drove up on a whim on like a Tuesday. It was fun. It was raining. I remember the first time I went. I remember the first time I went to Family Fun. I got there and I was like, this is so far. Got out of the car, and it's just like pouring rain. I was listening to some like metal shit, and then like I walk up and it's just like so loud of like that. You know that sound of like 15 head-to-heads of Third Strike, where it's just like you
Oh
can't
fuck yeah.
you can't hear any details, but you just hear Third Strike sounds in like a mishmash sort of way,
Hmm.
and buttons, and I was just like, wow, this is sick.
Yeah.
And and since that day, my life has been forever changed because after that, I met Five Star in San Diego because luckily he is going to school here, so just by chance I could meet him in San Diego, and he told me, yeah, man, if you want to be the best, just be the best at Family Fun, and you'll be the best in America. And I was like, all right, sounds easy enough. Give me 3 months.
Which is in those days exactly true. Um, it's always crazy to me to think about how many people in this really centralized area in North LA, were in the like top 10 in the whole country.
Yeah. Uh, basically, aside from two or three people, the top 10 were just a Family Fun. So, and that's not
Yeah,
even that's not
that's
even. I mean, if you want to argue that, go ahead. But I don't agree with you because I don't think the certain people that were like SBO qualifiers, not to like rag on them, but I don't think they were anywhere near uh, the top players at FFA, and I think the medium levels of FFA players were the even crazier fact about that place was those guys were fucking mad good.
yeah. You kind of took the words out of my mouth there. I think one of the things that was it's hard to appreciate the talent level at FFA because I would say the majority of people there refused to travel because it was just like, what's the point? it's not like I'm going to play better players outside of FFA. I have the best. So there's so many people that you've never even heard of that were so fucking good there.
That's right. And then even the guys that like weren't even good, like they were just the scrubs, they were still good somehow.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. This one guy, he could like do that Alex cross up stop every single time perfectly, and he would bust your ass.
Yeah,
And
just guaranteed in those early days, you would go there and it would just be like some like random Korean or Mexican kid. Like, they don't even really seem like they take the game that seriously. They don't play in tournaments, but like, fuck, dude, I couldn't beat them back then.
nope. And they probably would get like an S plus on you. It wasn't even like you just barely lose to them.
Yeah, I think so too.
They would just bust your ass. And I mean, yeah, that's kind of my basic startup story. So after I went to FFA, I came back to San Diego and I was like, yeah, I can't be going to FFA every fucking day because that shit was 3 hour drive. Let me find something closer. Just by chance too. Like this is like some crazy fate shit because it's just fate that I like grew up next to Sunnyvale and I knew the basics already. I think it's fate that my friends want to play it in high school. Fate that I found an arcade and it's kind of close. It does in 3 hours. I mean, close enough to drive. It's the best place in America. And then looking online one day, just seeing like something in San Diego. Luckily, there was one place in San Diego that had just gotten a third strike cab like the week prior. This is in like 2004,
Okay.
so like that's some weird fucking fate right there. Wow, cool, they have a cab. So I go there, and there was like 20 people playing. Like it was mad packed in there. This was after like Third Strike was getting like kind of getting steam too at that time. So um, I went there and uh, some guy had like a 86 game win streak, and I remember just being like, "What the hell?" Like I've never even knew that was possible. And it was like Dudley, and it ended up being 5 star, and like just couldn't even touch him. Just how sick he was at the game.
Hmm.
I don't remember the matches. I'm sure they were probably very simple matches, just him doing jumping combos, him mixing up low short short. I remember he was playing rocket, so low short short rocket or overhead rocket, just doing that, just beating scrubs all day, and yeah, at that point I was like, I want to be like this. I want to be at this level. So that changed my life. Ended up going to that arcade in San Diego pretty much every day until it closed, and it ended up closing like 6 months later, so it wasn't that long.
Fuck, that's a drag.
But yeah, it's cool. I'm gonna wrap. I'm almost gonna be done with this story. So, after that, um, coincidentally, I found out that there was some players that still went to that Nickel City because that Nickel City was really near to my house, and I didn't know there was any players that actually played there. Like, because every time I went there, I'd just been like playing the computer. But once I discovered Shoryuken, I was like, oh, sick! People actually do go here, and um, at that point, so I made another visual aid here. Let me show you.
Oh, tight.
uh, I'm gonna add this to both you guys so you can see it. Uh,
Oh, cool.
so here is
Nice.
Nickel City by my house, and let me add it to the Twitch so you guys can see that. Hold on, just a second. Bear with me. Yeah, if I get better at this OBS stuff, which I'm trying to, I mean, I'm gonna be able to just throw stuff up real quick. But please bear with me. I am a noob still. So let me show you guys a little. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, here we go. And let me make it smaller so you guys can see.
Perfect.
Perfect. Okay, so the reason why there's a Bud Light and a Marlboro Light here with the picture, John can probably guess, but ended up going here and meeting a little guy. He was of smaller stature, but he was really friendly. His name was Louis Zamora, and he played Third Strike as well. And Louis Zamora talked to me one time. He's like, "Yeah, man, what's up? You play Third Strike? You should come to my house. I live down the street. We can play on console. I have a stick. Do you have a stick?" And I said, "Yeah, I got a stick. Let's go." Um, I went over to Louis' house, and this guy just loved Bud Light. Like he was drinking these Bud Light cubes. Like I don't know how many he drank every week, but it had to be like 3 or 4 a week. And
I don't doubt it at all, man. I don't
he
doubt
was
it
just
at all.
drinking these Bud Lights and smoking Mad Marlboro Light cigarettes, and this blew my mind because like I had never drank before like all the time. I just drank like once a month at a party or something, and I was like, wow, you can drink just like on a Wednesday, and he's like, yeah, why not? And I was like, I don't know, just like thought that was frowned upon.
That's allowed?
Yeah, that's allowed. He's like, yeah, dude, you want one? I was like, okay. uh, and then like I would drink like 2 or 3 all slow, because I didn't bring any beer. It's like his 30 pack, and he's like, you want another beer? I'm like, nah, dude, I'm good. He's like, what's wrong with you, man? Just drink some beers. And I was like, all right. And then I just drank like one more, and I was like, all right, dude, I'm good. He's like, dude, why are you being like lame like that? Just drink like 10 of them. And I was like, I didn't even like register. Like I was like, why would I drink 10 of them? It's too many. He's like, dude, just try it. It's fun. So I was like, all right. So I remember it was like a random Wednesday. I just drank like 10 of these beers at his house, and we were just playing console like Third Strike. And I was like, dude, this is so fun. And like every 30 minutes, just going out and having a Marlboro Light. And he also changed my life because at that point I was like, dude, drinking mad beers and smoking cigs and playing Third Strike is really, really, really fun. It's like the funnest thing in the world besides
It
like
is the funnest thing in the world.
besides hooking up with a nice lady or something. But it's up there.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, so yeah, this arcade in Nickel City ended up being my go-to place. I used to go there a few times a week, and I ended up meeting Neil there as well. That's how I met Neil. It was an interesting place because it was like a kids arcade, but for some reason they had Third Strike there. It was actually owned by Capcom. Another fun fact.
No kidding.
Yeah, and I think to this day it had the cheapest Third Strike machine ever. It was 15 cents for one play, 3 nickels to play Third
Oh my
Strike.
god, 15 cents. That's dope.
I've never heard of a cheaper Third Strike machine in the world.
How do they make money off of that?
It was like a $3 entry. That's it. Uh,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, it's funny because I used to just get like $1 in nickels and just be set, and like my buddy Neil would have to get like $5, like this huge freezer bag of nickels, because I would just bust his ass.
Some things never change.
And the one funny story I remember about Neil is we like Louis called me and I was at Nickel City playing against Neil. I didn't know Neil at that point yet. I just knew him as a guy I played at the arcade. He's like, "What's up? What are you doing?" This is Louis. Louis like, "What's up? What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, just playing Third Strike and Nickel." And he's like, "Cool. Who are you playing with?" I was like, that one dude that plays Yuri?" And he's like, "Who?" And I was like, "The one guy. He's kind of like stoner guy. He wears like Bob Marley shirts." He's like, "Who?" And I was like, "The one guy who never wins." He's like, "Oh yeah, that guy." He's like, "Well, dude, you invite him over. You two can come over and hang out." And we ended up becoming like 3 amigos. So that was really cool.
That is it. I never knew all of that. That's fucking really cool.
Yeah. So now I was like, "Hey Neil, you want to go to my buddy Louis' house and play Third Strike?" And he's like, "Where does he live?" I was like, "Down the street." And he's like, "All right, let's go." And I was like, "You want to drink some beers?" He's like, "Hell yeah." So we ended up just going and like partying and like on a Thursday in 2005. Um, good times.
Damn.
Um,
Yeah, that's really cool.
yeah, and then by the way, in case any of you guys, I don't know if you have any rollerblading fans, but this is Louis, who's like fucking professional rollerblader from the 90s.
X Games star, man.
Yeah, second game at X Games, no joke. Louis Zamora, rollerblader, one of my best friends. I haven't seen him in a while. Hope he's doing all right. This
Yeah,
drink's for
super
you,
fucking
Louis.
cool guy. Yeah, this one's for you, Louis.
But yeah, that's my
That's
story.
a pretty good. That's a pretty good story, man. And kind of makes me nostalgic for a Marlboro Light. I haven't had a Marlboro Light in probably 4 years or something.
Oh yeah, they sell them there, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't taste the same as American ones.
Oh,
I
that's
mean, I
true.
think the Japanese ones taste better, but I smoked Marlboro Lights in the States for probably a good, I don't know, 6 years. So sometimes every once in a while I want to take a trip down memory lane.
Yeah, and you don't really want to buy like a pack and just get screwed with it. Like, damn, this sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Just want a few, you know.
Well, I guess anyway, probably my turn, and it's interesting the way the timeline syncs up because you're saying that was in 2005, um, and like I said earlier on, forgive the dog. I started playing in 2005, and the experience is not that much different. I had a group of friends, and I don't know if even a lot of people remember like talking shit about like 09ers on SRK,
Oh,
which was
I
like
remember
people
that.
that, yeah. But I remember this just shows how long we've been playing the game. I remember it used to be kind of a derogatory term to talk shit about people who started Third Strike after the Daigo parry. I don't remember what the term was, but I was one of those guys. It's the same year that the Daigo, or no, maybe a year after the Daigo parry happened, the PS2 version came out. And so that's when I started getting into Third Strike. And of course, like you, I was playing on the PS2 pad. And eventually I started getting, better than my friends. And I don't know why. Like, for some reason, Third Strike just clicked, you know? I never really wanted to play another game. And I think the first place I started playing at was Moore Park College. I don't get it, man. Like, why did so many community colleges in California have Third Strike cabs?
That's a good question. Yeah, if you guys are gonna be mind blown by this, but for some reason there was like 8 colleges in the state of California, not just SoCal, even in NorCal, like San Jose State, San Francisco State, um, and then like a couple community colleges in San Jose also had Third Strike and a bunch of arcades. Same in SoCal. I don't get it.
And what's really weird is some of them actually had decent scenes. Like the
Yep.
place where I started did not have a good scene, but I remember at the time I was I would go out to UCLA once in a while, and I guess I'm kind of quiet. I'll lean in. I would go out to UCLA, and like J.R. Rodriguez would play there all the time, and it kind of reminded me of what you were talking about in San Diego, where Five Star would show up, and J. Rod would just get like 80, 90 wins like every single time.
90. Yeah,
Which
how did those guys get so many wins without pissing? That's what I want to know.
That's a good fucking question, dude. I mean, I guess they don't drink beer while they're playing as much as we
Oh,
do.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, that was a weird thing where like you didn't really even have to go to a proper game center to get Third Strike action. You could just like skip class and go play Third Strike all day. But that place was a dump, and thankfully for me, there was an arcade called Interface, which was owned by the owner of FFA in Simi Valley, which, for those of you in the know, was the future location of Denshin Arcade.
Right.
And that place was a dump too. Like I think it got, I think there used to be an arcade on the other side of the highway, and I guess somebody crashed a car into it.
That's nice.
It's pretty, yeah. So they moved all of the cabinets into like this like former like boba tea fucking place. Just the place, fucking sucked. But there was like a decent Third Strike scene there. And what's really cool is thinking back, like that's where I met Vinny. Still friends with him today. The Chins used to play there. Still friends with them today. Rennick used to play there. Still friends with him today. Every once in a while, some of the like FFA big boys like Victory or Pyro Lee would come out, which was kind of cool. Um, but yeah, back then I fucking sucked, dude. It was like a good year before I learned how to hit confirm. So I'm surprised that you knew all that, like right off the bat.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just think I was just lucky because uh, I used to want to go play at Street Fighter at Sunnyvale Golfland, and then I was like a little kid, and like the big kids would just like punk me, like get the fuck out of here, little kid, you can't play. So I would just like watch him play from the side, and then like go home and play SNES Street Fighter 2 and like try to copy their shit. So I just think I was just super fortunate to know about like these cross ups and like tick throws. Um, I didn't know like how to like get out of it. I just knew what it looked like. So
Well, that reminds me like of a time when I was a kid, dude. And as much as people complain about like elitism and stuff, like people were so mean in the 90s. And I remember going to there's this bowling alley that's probably like a 2-minute drive from where Denjin used to be. My parents would take me bowling there, but I just wanted to play Street Fighter 2, and it was like Champion Edition,
right.
and I could barely see over the cab, and I was just picking Bison and doing the slide over and over, down. I don't know any better.
Yeah.
Dude, I started this like high school kid got really mad at me. He's like, "Oh, you think you're fucking good? Well, what are you gonna do about this?" I'm like, sorry about that, talking shit, and he just kept doing Psycho Crusher. And this was, like I said, Champion Edition. Like, Psycho Crusher spam is pretty hard even if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, so like just punking some little kid with Psycho Crusher, dude. That's yeah. People were mean, dude, especially the older kids. I remember just older kids being really dicks to me when I was like trying to go to the arcade.
Yeah,
Just
people
like
were really mean.
I was just playing against the computer, and like this big kid would come up and be like, "Fuck you out of here!" Like kind of shoved me off the cab. I'm just like, damn. Nothing like FFA.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like the mid 2000s there was a lot of mean stuff too, and I'll never like argue that FFA was a very welcoming place.
Oh no, dude, it was a war zone in there. It was the trenches basically.
Oh, without a doubt, dude.
And the weak would die, and the strong would survive, and that's just what made everyone good.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Like, if you persevered through it, then you look back on it really fondly. But I can't really say, like, for sure that was the best way to do it, but I wouldn't have had it any other way.
Oh, I'm sure there's about 45 guys that live in the valley, San Fernando Valley, who really like Third Strike and just completely quit the game because of FFA and the way that people were treated there. The way that they were
like,
treated.
Somebody fucking took their quarter and just threw it off the cab or something mean like that.
Get out of here, scrub. And then they just went home and they're like, fuck that game, fuck that place. This was like, yeah, 06. I know for a fact, like, there's got to be at least 2 to 3 people that have told me, like, yeah, I used to live near Family Fun. I used to go there, but then some people were dicks to me and I stopped going, so I just played online only or something like that. So I know it was definitely a thing. But, I mean, if you can't handle a little shit talk, maybe I'm old school myself, but I would just ignore it and just bust their ass in the game, Because that's all that really mattered. If you were good at the game, no one was going to talk shit to you.
Well, I've talked about this a lot of the time, or like many, many times with James. And it was this kind of weird thing where like your social status was very strongly correlated with your skill.
Oh, directly correlated. 100% directly.
If you couldn't put like a decent showing against somebody that was good, then nobody's going to give you the time of day. You're just a faggot.
No matter how interesting or cool you were, if you couldn't play the game well, or you weren't childhood friends with one person that could play the game well, get out of town. You're not going to after dinner parties. You're not going to, hang out with the cool kids. It was really, really like, yeah, they just didn't want to talk to you if you couldn't play the game. And I think that's really what helped the skill level get so high, because people were just really competitive. I know it sucks, like, and it wouldn't work now because there's just not enough people, and it's just we're like way more mature now, so it just sounds stupid. But like you said, like,
Yeah, I
uh,
don't think you or me could actually really defend it in a way that makes sense to anybody unless you actually grew up in that kind of atmosphere. If you started the game that way and you stuck through it, then you see the benefits of it. But yeah, like you said, I don't see that working today. I don't see that working in most scenes at any time
no,
and
it doesn't.
place.
It doesn't work, and it's really, yeah, it's just unwelcoming. And I know a lot of people had problems with that, but I just the way that it worked there, that's just the way it was, and it just created rabid dogs, dude.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's the best way to put it.
That's what it did, and for better or worse, people were fucking good that came out of that place.
Well, it kind of reminds me of one of the things I wanted to mention about playing at Interface was, like I said, the Chin brothers played there. And maybe some people know about Eric and Matt Chin already. Maybe some people don't. Those guys, Rabid Dog, definitely fits the fucking bill. Um,
Short fuse.
yeah, yeah. I won't get into too much detail because they're both, like successful adults now.
Oh, and they're actually really good guys. It was just the immaturity and elitism of video game players back in the day. Very common thing. I think in probably any game.
Well, I'll tell like two stories that I think really kind of sum that up. It's kind of hard to understand it. Um, I remember the first one, and I don't remember if it was Eric or Matt. Could have been either one of them. There was this douchebag that used to go to Interface, and he was like a Chun player or something, and he would always talk mad shit. And I think he went by the name like Pro Kid, and he would like always say his name like Pro Kid when he was winning and shit.
Pro kid.
And yeah, it's a fucking whack name.
Super whack.
Yeah, and one day he was mouthing off to the wrong person, which was either Eric or Matt, and that was the first time I saw one of those guys pop off.
Wow.
And yeah, I won't give details. You can kind of fill it in. There was some physical contact. Could have escalated quite a bit, but I think most people knew to just back off and not actually, try to defend yourself against those two.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we were all just kids, and we are all boys too. So you get a bunch of boys together that are playing something competitive with no supervision, and yeah, things are gonna get a little wacky sometimes. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, there's stories upon stories, and it's not. I mean, it's well beyond just Eric and Matt. Like all kinds of people would do that kind of shit in arcades, and it's like you said, it was just a bunch of boys with too much energy and testosterone. And they were in their
Testosterone
early 20s.
and boners.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So just that kind of shit happens. But
Yeah.
then I'll say my other story was I think it was my very first tournament, which was it was a scrub tournament at Interface, and I think that was the first time I ever talked to Matt, and he told me like, yeah, if you're actually serious about this game, you should check out this website, shoryuken.com forums, and that was it for me, dude. Like, wow, there's so much information out there. Like, I can actually like learn about this game. I felt like I was just in a forest by myself in the dark, not knowing what I was, how to get out, what I'm supposed to be doing, and those little kind of things, those little bits there, like meant a lot. Someone trying to like introduce and encourage me, made a big difference to me.
Yeah. Definitely. So many good memories about those days. Um, we're gonna have some more material for next week, so I don't want to go too far into like the uh, the Denjin days. We'll touch on that next week, I guess, because we're almost running out of time here. But we're chronologically starting. We started, and we're gonna be moving on up. So you guys make sure you stick with it and keep
That's
watching.
Yeah, Dungeon Days, that's quite a fucking saga, dude. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm sure next week's episode is going to be pretty much just full Denjin episode. Uh,
Yeah.
that's probably going to be the theme of next week. But I mean, yeah. Do you have anything else to add to your FFA stories or anything, or? Um,
Oh boy. Well, I guess just like I said, I've got no shame. I was a fucking loser in those first couple of years, and just to touch on like what you said, I, you know, distinctly remember that moment of Matt kind of, um, you know, trying to help me out because those moments were few and far between, man. Those moments didn't happen too often. And it took like years of practice and years of studying before I had just the slightest, percentage of clout in the third strike scene. Not that I really ever had any at all, but it really took a while to get respect from people and to kind of get people to even help you.
yeah, that's another interesting topic that I want to probably touch on next time or the time after next time would be like this used to boggle my mind, dude. Like, I'll give you the exact example of what I'm talking about. So, I used to want to get better at third strike, and I used to go play at Gene's house. Gene lived, another player lived 5 minutes from me by car, so I used to go play all the time at his house. And you know, Gene is a top CVS2 player. He was like top 8 at Evo at CVS2 1 year or 2 years, I don't know. Anyways, me and Gene used to go play third strike at Family Fun, and Yi would always help Gene, but Yi would never help me, and it used to like make me so.
He's always had a soft spot for Gene.
No, I know, but like I never understood why. Like it just didn't make sense. I was like, damn, is it because they're both Asian and Chinese? You know, I thought there was something like racial about it, but no, I understand like there's like that certain like je ne sais quoi about a player where they kind of have potential and you want to help them. Whereas if
Yeah.
there's just some guy who like is kind of hopeless still, like you can't really help him because whatever you tell him, you're gonna like either confuse the hell out of him, or you're gonna just like you just don't really know how to explain things to him yet. So and Gene already had that because of his background with CVS. Like he knew footsies and fundamentals. I still was like way behind at that point. So I could see now why I wasn't being helped in the same way. But it used to really like get to me.
Yeah, I can understand, man.
Because no one talks about
That's
this. No one talks about like why some people get a teacher or why does some people get like kind of like a mentor. You know what I mean? And other people are just left to go on their own.
Yeah, and that's kind of a bummer thing because if you have a mentor, that's like being on steroids, dude. It helps so much.
Yeah,
But
but I don't think this is unique to fighting games. I think this is the same shit. Like if you're fucking playing chess and you go to like a
sure.
weekly chess club and uh, you just suck, And but you do some smart things. Some of the top players might hit you up and be like, "Hey, why did you do that?" Or "Why don't you try this?" Whereas if you go there and you just suck balls, they're not even gonna say shit to you. So it's the same thing, you know.
Yeah, but I guess it's lucky for a lot of people now these days that they don't have to deal with that kind of shit that they would call elitism. You know,
Oh yeah,
for me it was just
you just go on the internet, fucking search how to do shit and watch YouTube videos. Oh, you don't need anybody to tell you what to do. Back in the day,
yeah,
man, fuck, things were like super mysteries.
oh
Uh,
yeah, without a doubt.
yeah, like just basically like you can't even fucking. There's no way you can find something out without someone telling you. All right. Well, the last thing I wanted to do for today was I wanted to go over our last week's YouTube comments. I want to make this a new segment where we go over the YouTube comments and
Oh, cool, cool.
we discuss what it is, and then it also gets you guys more motivated to maybe comment on next week's YouTube or this episode's YouTube, so we can talk about it next week. So first on the list we have Rennick. We all know Rennick, Ty Mitchell from John's hometown. I'm sure you've known him for how long?
Fucking long ass time, dude. Can't I don't even I don't know the exact amount of years, but it's been fucking forever.
Right. Lives in Phoenix now, I think, or Arizona, one of those cities in Arizona. I don't know. I don't know Arizona too well. But anyways, the comment he says is, words I never thought would come out of Farai's mouth. I was going for a run. Response to that.
Um, well, actually, a big reason why I've been getting really into running should be no surprise to anybody that me and Ryan are big pro wrestling fans. And he told me, I think it was maybe in Ric Flair's biography, that Ric Flair's go-to hangover cure is exercising. I don't really like lifting weights like pro wrestlers do, but I can tell you for sure, if you're a boozer, a little bit of exercise, shower, and like a nice dump, you'll be 80% back to normal. And that's even if you had like 15, 20 drinks the night before.
Yeah. I know when you're like super hungover, the last thing you could possibly want to do is like get up and like exercise, but it works, dude. It really works.
It really does work. And it kind of helps me not want to smoke as much, but I do still smoke. I mean, it's if I go through like 15, 20 cigarettes the night before the run, is really hard. But you still got to do it, man, and it gets a little bit easier every day.
Yeah. I should try that because the last few for the last like month and a half, we've been having these like Friday night Zoom parties, which I'm sure a lot of you guys do the same thing. We've been doing that on Fridays, and I've just been getting super fucking shit faced every Friday, to where every Saturday I'm like completely worthless. And last week, fucking our friend Fernando had the great idea to start taking shots on the Zoom chat, and I started taking shots with them. And I was completely worthless on Saturday. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even play games. I couldn't get out of bed. Like I was just laying down all day. And even Sunday, I still didn't feel right. So I should just exercise, man. I'm gonna take your word and try that this Saturday because I'm sure it'll be the same way.
Yeah, I would give it a try. But yeah, I guess that's just a testament. I haven't seen Rennick in a long time. I've, in some ways, improved my life.
Well, let me ask you one thing. Have you ever barfed from exercising on a hangover?
Oh boy, I've been close, but so far no.
Yeah, I can imagine being pretty close, just like starting to run and just getting some dry heaves. Could see that
Yeah,
happening,
yeah, the dry heaves have come.
especially in the
So far, I've
summertime
kept
or
it together.
something.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Anyways, my response to that comment was, "He runs every day, a real runner!" Exclamation point.
Thank you.
And Rennick's reply was champion. So thank you, Rennick. Thank you, Rennick, for your comment.
Yeah, thanks for the comment, dude. I appreciate it.
Uh,
Miss you, buddy.
Next comment comes from Keychain. I don't know if you know Keychain, but I know a little bit about him. I don't know if I met him, but I think he's a New York City player. Supposedly, he's Dr. Steelhammer's student, as we were talking about the student-teacher relationship earlier.
Oh, sweet.
Keychain is his student, a Urian player. I think I played with him on Xbox Live a few times. Uh, Anyways, his comment goes, "The Ebby story is sick. LOL. I love watching his Makoto on Araki stream, so that was cool to hear. It's great hearing the Coop stories too. Makes me wish I was part of that history, and I can't wait to hit up the future ones." Um, Reply from John?
Oh, dude. Sometimes I feel like a broken record. Me and Ryan have talked about this so many times, trying to encourage people to go to Coop. And so I'm just going to say what I always say. I mean, there's a lot of things that I've done with Third Strike that changed my life. Probably near in the top three is first going to Coop, or just going to Japan for Third Strike in general. Uh, I don't know, man. It's You have to experience it to really know what it is. But I can tell you, the list of names of people that have come here and just that was it, game over, is a pretty long list at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I always talk about this one night was you came to Coop, and then after Coop finished, like we went to Gods, which for anyone who doesn't know, Gods, Godz, is a heavy metal bar in Kabukicho Shinjuku, Tokyo. It's the sickest bar in the world if you like heavy metal, which I do, as you can
Yeah.
see from my sweet Fear of the Dark Iron Maiden shirt from probably
Fuck yeah.
25 years ago. Um, yeah, it's the sickest bar in the world. But anyways, we were after Coop. I remember this day. I was so sleepy during Coop. I couldn't keep my eyes open because I slept 2 hours the night before. Once Coop finished, we ended up starting to drink, and I got super. I got resurrected, got the good energy back, and we were talking at God's, and you told me to my face, or I think I said to you like, "Oh man, like I can't wait till Coop next year. Yeah, I'll probably go next year too." And you're like, "I'm never gonna miss Coop. I'll go every year." And I was like, "Hey, good answer. Yeah, me too. I'm gonna go every year," and I stuck by that. So it just does change your life. So thank you,
Yeah,
Keychain, for your comment.
yeah, man. I really, really hope, and maybe even I pray to Satan that you will someday have that experience, and I'll be here, man. Ryan will be here, and we'll have a beer with you.
Yeah, I mean, I know this is very irresponsible, but I mean, worst case scenario, you just go get a credit card, max it out, and then you figure out when you get back.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Yeah, that's we're gonna do our financial advice podcast soon too.
yeah, that one will be very interesting. We're gonna have a disclaimer on that. We are not responsible for your, you know, anything that happens to you financially, but please, please watch that. All right, next comment. We got Mark Crossland, a good friend. He says, "I hope you make it back sometime soon, Ryan." Well, thank you, Mark. I'm working on it right now. A little tough with the quarantine. I mean, I should be in Japan right now. Like, I should be there right now, but this whole fucking bullshit ruined everything with the, you know, Coop, and I was supposed to move there for work. To be honest, I got offered a job last November, um, where I was doing a bunch of interviews online, and it was, yes, it's super fucking whack. It sucks so bad, like doing these online interviews. I don't know if you've done too many of them or any of you guys have done them, but it's just really awkward, terrible. Getting a little more comfortable with the online thing now because we've been zooming for the past month and a half. But at that point, it was just super awkward. I ended up getting a job, and I turned it down because it was like it was teaching again. I didn't want to do it at the time. Now I'm kind of open to doing it again, but at that particular position, at that time, I was just not ready. So, Mark, I'll be back sooner than later, buddy. Thank you for your comment. And next comment we have from our friend Sleepover, aka Dustin Walker, aka Dusty, aka Dustman, aka Duplo. He says, "Do it once a week."
Hey, well there we go.
Yep. That's what we're doing, Dusty. I wish you were here. You're probably just sitting at your house, so you could be here. Maybe you don't know that we're on, but you're gonna know for next week because we're gonna keep telling you. We're gonna bug you about it.
Hey, maybe we can have him as a special guest one of these days.
Yeah, that's one thing I want to try to do as a special guest, but unfortunately, the free version of Zoom only lets us have one-on-one
Oh, okay,
meetings.
okay.
So maybe we can get Fernando, who has the paid version, to hook us up. I don't know how that's gonna work, but that is an
Just the
idea.
special guest is Fernando every time.
No, we'll just tell Fernando to give us his password, and then we'll tell him to fuck off.
Okay,
Uh,
that's a good idea.
but that is something we're playing with. Good idea, John. I already was there. And then we have our last comment was also from Mark Crossland. He says Suzuki number one. Can you explain that? Because I'm not sure what that means.
Oh, sure. This is. I hope some of the people in Third Strike Junkies have been watching my Tokyo Boys TV videos. It's just kind of like showing what it's like to live in Tokyo. Some of it's Third Strike, but a lot of it isn't because we do other things when we're living in Tokyo, right?
I think so.
Yeah, once in a while.
Yeah.
Last summer we went to a baseball game in Tokyo Dome, and it was Hiroshima Carp against Giants, I think. And
Yeah, if it's at Tokyo
Dusty,
Dome, it's got to be Giants.
yeah, yeah. Um, and it was fucking mad fun. I think it was Dusty's first time ever going to a baseball game, and he just got a new job that was paying pretty well, so he was just trying to spend money, and we spent a shitload of money, and me, Mark, and Dusty all bought uh, Hiroshima Carp jerseys with Suzuki, whoever the fuck he is, who's number one on Hiroshima.
That's a pretty common last name, but I'm sure he's good.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you,
right.
Dusty. I mean,
Yeah,
thank you, Mark.
yeah.
Thank you, Mark. And thank you, Dusty. Yeah. Where's my jersey, buddy?
Yeah.
You know
Well, I mean,
something sick about Japanese baseball. I know a lot about it. I've done some research. Is the Hiroshima Carp is the only team that does not have a sponsor as their name. Every other team has a
yeah,
sponsor as their name. For example, Yomiuri Giants. Yomiuri is a newspaper company. Yakult Swallows. Yakult is like a probiotic yogurt drink. Rakuten Eagles. Rakuten is like
it's
Japan's
this.
eBay.
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
um, Japan's Amazon,
SoftBank
whatever.
Hawks,
SoftBank Hawks, Nippon Ham Fighters. Basically, it's pretty cool that the Hiroshima Carp keeps it real uh, by
dude,
not
fucking
using
a.
a sponsor name. So they're gonna get our this week's Keeping It Real award, and that's gonna be a new thing we're doing. So congratulations to the Hiroshima Carp. You get the week of May 21st Keeping It Real award.
Yeah. So hopefully, if you want to get next week's Keeping It Real award, I hope you keep it real for the next week.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you could comment on our YouTube video about how you keep it real, and we can judge.
Oh, we'd love to know. We'd love to know.
Yeah. Well, that's about it. I actually have to go buy some cigarettes. I need a cigarette so bad, and I don't have any. I gotta go to the gas station, which is like
Yeah, I gotta
down the
piss and
street.
have a smoke too.
Well, any last words, John?
I, I really have been wanting to do kind of like story time for a long time about the early days of when I started playing Third Strike, and I imagine that there's probably a lot of guys out there that started a good couple of years after us. So if there's anything that you guys are interested in specifically, I'd love to be able to elaborate on that because the narcissistic side of me loves talking about these old Third Strike stories. I think they're really interesting, man, especially the old SoCal scene. So I'm really looking forward to more in the future.
Yeah, I mean, same. I try to tell my stories in like a detailed yet, I didn't want to spend 45 minutes or an hour talking about like, one night I met so and so. So if you want to know more, then you just ask. Yeah, any kind of like questions is cool too. You know like we did today. We're gonna do the YouTube thing next week. If there's a lot of comments, we'll spend a little more time on that. So um, I'll try to make the setup a little bit better. I mean, we had a little audio problem with JP earlier, his microphone. I know. Thanks to KD Alpha for pointing that out. But yeah, we had a little issue, so JP's using his phone. But we're gonna try to figure that out for next week. Um, but yeah, thanks guys. I'm gonna put this on YouTube soon, and see you guys next week. It's gonna be yeah. One thing I was also gonna bring up. The last point is like I know we've been doing this at some pretty nasty hours, some really ungodly times, and it's tough for any of you guys to join in live. So if we were if we were to do it at like a normal time, what time would be good for you guys if you guys want to join? If you guys don't care about joining, then you guys just want to listen to it, then we'll do it at these nasty times, so it doesn't really matter. Let us know. Yep, that's about it.
Final message: Let Blood Run and Farai are dead.
Right,
Long,
let me put that back. I want to put that image back for you guys. Um,
yeah,
this is the final day for this particular name that we both used to go by for whatever reason. And you know what? Maybe we could talk about that next time. Why did we choose our names?
oh
Uh,
god, that'll be embarrassing.
because I know it'll be funny. Because why wouldn't it be, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, so from now on, after you watch this fucking video, let it be known. Don't fucking call me Farai. Don't call him Let Blood Run. Those names, I'm not going to answer to it anymore.
no, they're done. And you know what? Actually, maybe next week we won't talk about it. Well, maybe like in a month or two we will. For
Yeah,
now,
we'll see.
I just want to end this. We're not going to be called that anymore. We're going to let that go. Farai is dead. Let Blood Run is dead. Their last time to be talked about is right now. And please enjoy this picture of us at a McDonald's in Japan with the pillow in the vague shape of a baseball. And yep, have a good night, guys.
All right, peace out.